You're watching the 49ers Report by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Jay Senior. Coming up on today's show, a 49ers postgame show following this really dominant win, 31-13 victory over the Atlanta Falcons. Really impressive on multiple fronts because I thought at times during this game, San Francisco really shot themselves in the foot, but they were able to overcome some of those mistakes and come through with a victory to push their record to 8-6 on the year. And this is a game that had a bunch of playoff implications in the NFC, especially in that wild card hunt, because the Niners entered this game at Levi Stadium at 7-6 on the campaign. The Atlanta Falcons were 6-7, still in the mix. But my biggest takeaway from the Atlanta Falcons front, this is a team that plays awful against some really good teams across the National Football League, and they play really, really well against some average teams. And the Niners really able to separate themselves in this victory today with the final score of 31-13. Matt Ryan on the day, 19-32, 236 yards and a touchdown on the money downs, which I classify them as third downs and fourth downs. I thought DeMeco Ryans' defense was terrific. Atlanta offensively, that is supposed to be the strong suit for Arthur Smith's squad, formerly the offensive coordinator for the Tennessee Titans. They really couldn't do anything of significance all throughout the day, especially on those critical downs. That's a big shout out to what this defense was able to do under DeMeco Ryans. Nick Bosa able to tally his 15th sack on the year. And how about the play of Arden Key? Now, Russell Gage was able to have a big day, 8 catches for 91 yards, but other than that, this Niners defense was phenomenal. And the Niners offense was good when they needed to be on some of those critical downs, unlike Atlanta. And once again, the calling card for the Niners during this really good stretch over the last 2 months or so, they've been able to milk a lot of the clock and go on these really elongated drives, which really zaps the momentum from the opposition. You're able to burn some clock and wear that defense down. Jimmy Garoppolo, phenomenal today. Final tally of 18-23, 235 yards and a score. And how about Jeff Wilson? Without Elijah Mitchell, out because of that knee injury and those concussion problems, 21 carries, a $110 and a score. And George Kittle continued his phenomenal play as the best and most dominant tight end in the NFL. Travis Kelce had something to say about that on Thursday Night Football, but still, I side with George Kittle. Once again, very, very good. 6 catches for 93 yards. Now, you take a look at the NFC playoff picture, things are getting interesting, of course, in the wild card race, but also in the divisional race in the NFC West. With a win, the Niners pushed their record to 8-6, so that, of course, updates, but everything else updated up to the moment. Green Bay Packers right now in a tight game with the Baltimore Ravens, number 1 seed at 10-3. Tampa Bay Bucks played the Saints on Sunday Night Football, so that could change as well. But that right now, their record at 10-3. Cowboys beat the Giants today at 10-4. But why the NFC West is getting pretty fascinating and intriguing, the Arizona Cardinals continue to free fall, folks. They lost to the Detroit Lions to drop their record to 10-4 on the year. But the Rams tomorrow take on a feisty Seahawks team. They're at 9-4. And, of course, San Francisco has a tiebreaker over Los Angeles. That, like I've been saying, could decide a playoff spot in the NFC divisional race in the NFC West or the NFC wild card the final week of the season, because that game between the Niners and the Rams going to go down in NFL Week 18. So now, after some thoughts about this game, let's start to answer some of these questions. By the way, Jack, sponsor going to be Fanatics. It is in the Fanatic sheet. Let's start off this mailbag with this super chat coming in from Marty Overson. Good game. In 91, I got Joe Montana, Jerry Rice, and Roger Craig's signature on a bar napkin. What would that be worth? It would be worth a lot of money today, Marty. There is no doubt about that. And what you love to see is during this really good stretch for the 49ers, of course, they're not like emulating what the Niners were able to do under Joe Montana, Jerry Rice, and Roger Craig, but they're playing a really good brand of football that is conducive to winning in the playoffs. Really good run game, opportunistic defense, and I'd like to see them do less of shooting themselves in the foot, because when the Niners play like they did outside some of those mistakes today, they can keep up with a lot of teams in the NFC. We were talking during halftime. The Niners are like the worst, best team in the NFL. Because when they're humming, when momentum is on their side, this team is absolutely fantastic. But too many times, they make mistakes in some of these games. If they can avoid some of these mistakes moving forward toward the end of the regular season and in the playoffs, this team can be absolutely dangerous. I'll drink to that, Marty. I also have to pour a shot up thanks to this $20 super chat from Jeremy Ivy. On games this high scores, why not let Trey Lance run plays? You know, Kyle Shanahan mentioned this the other day, and I think he made a good point in saying it. By putting Trey Lance into the game, it kind of ruins the momentum that the Niners have working offensively. And I kind of see where he's coming from for a couple of reasons. Because when you take Jimmy Garoppolo out and you put Trey Lance in, the crowd gets up. The crowd is very curious. The team is curious on the sideline. They're like, what is Trey Lance going to do? But for Jimmy Garoppolo, it puts him in an awkward position as well. Because he's like, damn, am I getting replaced? And for how long am I getting replaced? I understand that I want to see more of Trey Lance, and you want to see more of Trey Lance. But during this winning streak and this winning stretch of play from the Niners, they've been really, really good. And they haven't played Trey Lance during this stretch. And at the end of the day, we want to continue to see this team play this way. And Jimmy Garoppolo has played fantastic football. So why fix what's not broken? I see where Kyle Shanahan is coming from. Jeremy Ivy, here's a shot for you. If you want a shot at a free 49ers jersey or any 49ers jersey at all, you can get hooked up thanks to our friends at Fanatics. Multiple sizes, colors, and versions available of all these 49ers jerseys if you plug in that link down below. Christmas is only in a few days. If you want to get yourself hooked up with a 49ers jersey or somebody who you care about, we have you hooked up thanks to our friends at Fanatics. Now, we've been offering free jerseys thanks to our BetUS deal. You can get a bunch of really good deals on these 49ers jerseys with current players and ex-players if you plug in that link down below thanks to our friends at Fanatics. It's chatsports.com/49jersey. I'm going to put that link in the description as well as the comment section of this video for those of you who are interested in getting a 49ers jersey for Christmas. $20 super chat during our post-game show coming in from Ruben. What's your perfect playoff picture chase for the Niners? Also, shots chase, bang bang Niner gang, best 49ers coverage, thank you. No, thank you for making what I do an absolute blast. Now, I said it a little bit ago. I think when the Niners are playing their best football, they can compete with any team in the NFC. They should have beaten the Green Bay Packers, and they lost that game in the final seconds because of Aaron Rodgers' magic. Now, that game was at home, and it'd be a completely different atmosphere going on the road to Lambeau in January in what could be a very tough and difficult environment in weather conditions that you're not used to. But we saw the Niners go blow for blow with the Green Bay Packers. Also, if the Niners went on the road against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, would it surprise you if the Niners went on the road to take down the Bucs? Of course, they're headlined by the GOAT in Tom Brady, who just won his 7th Super Bowl last year. But in a perfect world, if the Niners play their best game, can they beat the Bucs? What I'm kind of rooting for is the Niners going on the road in the first round. And I think they're going to get that wild card spot, even though things get interesting in the NFC West with the Cardinals losing today. And I'm kind of rooting for the Niners to go on the road in the first round to either take on the Rams, the Cardinals, or the Cowboys because of their playoff shortcomings. Tom Downing, host of the Cowboys Report to my left. I hate to do it to you, but we know over the last quarter century, Cowboys have come up short, and they're a little bit fragile when it comes to the playoffs. So any of those teams that I mentioned, on their best day, wouldn't surprise me one iota if the Niners could come up with a clutch victory. Let me ask you this question, and I want all of you to do it justice and just flood the comment section right now. How confident are you in the 49ers making the playoffs? After that win against the Bengals in overtime, their chances went up to like 90%. According to the data, it's going to go up even higher now, moving their record to 8-6 on the year. You let me know right now how confident you are in the Niners making the playoffs and scale it for me from 1 to 10. Travis Jackson, another just regular message coming in. Is this the most impressive win this season? I don't know if it's the most impressive win this season. I don't know how good of a team the Falcons are. I think they play well against mediocre to bad teams, and they really, really struggle against some elite teams. Now, with what the Niners were able to do today, was I impressed? No doubt about it. I mean, Garoppolo, 18 of 23, 235, and a touchdown. Jeff Wilson ran for more than 100 yards. The Niners, as a team, averaged 5 yards per carry, 32 for 162, headlined by Jeff Wilson's 21 totes for $110. George Kittle continued to play excellent football, 6 catches, 93 yards. He's the best tight end in the league right now. Deebo Samuel, 4 catches for 60. He also carried the football a lot as well. But on the money downs, as I mentioned earlier, 3rd and 4th downs, San Francisco was tremendous. And this is just a winning blend of football. So is it the most impressive win of the season? I don't know about that. I'd say that Vikings win was impressive. The Bengals win was awfully impressive too, because that was really a gritty win as well. So too was the Vikings. There have been a couple of good victories this year. Philadelphia Eagles, a feisty team as well. Those are some of the dubs that come to mind, Travis. Mikey Sue's 4. Which players are eligible for re-signing after the season? So, right here on the 49ers Report, just a couple days ago, I put together a list of all, and I mean all, and this is why you subscribe to the channel, all of the 49ers free agents going into the 2022 offseason. So, just go check that video out. There are a plethora of players who are going to be available to be signed by other teams and the Niners this offseason. Now, a couple things come into play here. Deebo Samuel and Nick Bosa are not free agents. They are going into the final years of their rookie contracts. But because both of them are having career years, I think it's wise this offseason to do what the Niners did with Fred Warner, get those deals done. Because the NFL salary cap is going to continue to grow over the next couple of years. And while you're going to have to break bank and give those guys the bag, you actually might be able to get them at discounted prices if you pay them this year as opposed to after next year, especially after they put forward, if they put forward another career season. Make sure you subscribe to the 49ers Report by Chat Sports because 1, we are built different. 2, nobody's doing what we're doing. The last couple of weeks, we've had more than 50,000 people join us for our watch parties, and after every single game, we give you a post-game show within minutes, and last couple of weeks, we've been doing it live, answering all of your questions. So if you want free daily videos, the most entertaining and informative Niners coverage, hit that red subscribe button down below and join the faithful family here at Chat Sports. 1984, 49ers. Is the short week going to affect the Niners in Tennessee? I've always said this about this game, and this is something that I've always kept an eye on with the Niners going to Tennessee on a short week. They're playing against a very physical football team on a short week during Christmas week against a Tennessee team that's coming off a loss now to the Pittsburgh Steelers. And if they came through with a win, they would have been the number 1 seed in the AFC. So while they have been without Derrick Henry, this is a Tennessee team that is pretty solid, that is very well coached by Mike Vrabel, and it's a short week on the road, traveling across the country pretty much. It is going to be a tough game. I expect the Niners to win, but it's going to be a tough game for San Francisco, no question. Adrian, last question in this post-game show mailbag with about 900 people watching live. If you're watching after the fact, we appreciate you. Ambry Thomas has 2 games where he got 8 up. What can we do to fix this? Okay, so last week against the Bengals, really tough assignment going up against Jamar Chase. He got cooked a couple of times on some of those corner routes, and he got whistled for a couple of illegal hands to the face penalties, which is a correctable technique type of thing. Today, man, he got burnt. Gage had his number, and he got cooked a couple of times. 3rd-round pick out of Michigan. Also think about this. Yes, he was a high draft pick, but also he did not play football in 2020. He was a COVID opt-out at the University of Michigan, which now, by the way, in the college football playoffs. So I think you have to factor that in, that Ambry Thomas did not play football last year for Michigan. And this year, he barely played up until last week when he got his first start. So I'm not willing to say that Ambry Thomas is an overall bust. He was in there in coverage a couple of times today. He just got beat on some 50-50 balls. The penalties last week, correctable technique issues. Today, got beat out on some 50-50 balls. Little bit of a concern that he's getting burnt in coverage, but some of his coverage has been stride for stride. A little bit of a concern, not hitting the panic button just yet. Before we get out of here on our 49ers postgame show, let me ask you this now. Niners are 8-6, folks. Really, really fascinating team in the NFC West and in the NFC overall. I think they can cause some havoc. How many wins with a couple of games left will the Niners have this year? On the road Thursday night against the Titans, hosting the Texans, on the road against the Rams. They're 8-6 right now. You let me know in the comments section. Let's get together. Celebrate a 49ers dub. Let's get together and get in the comments section right now.